Do you like this pillow? If you want to sew something cute, then this tutorial is just what you need. The tiger pillow is a perfect project for any kid who loves animals. It's also very simple to make. All it takes is some fabric, stuffing, and beginner sewing skills. And it's not just the final product that you should enjoy. The process itself will help you improve your sewing skills, as I will show you how to use PDF patterns, how to make raw edge applique, how to sew a zigzag stitch on a sewing machine, what tools are the best to use for sewing projects, and we'll give many other small tips. Hi everyone! Welcome to my channel, the place for all things sewing. I am Olga from hbay.com and I'm going to show you how to make this cute pillow. First of all, gather all materials for this project: fabric pieces, stuffing material, sewing machine, fusible web for making appliques, and of course a pattern. You can find the pattern on my site. Here is the link, and I will also put the link under this video in the description box. But before actually doing this project, watch the whole video, because I will show you in detail what materials exactly you will need. Step 1. Print the PDF pattern for the pillow. It's only 6 pages and I put numbers on these pages. And now it's time to assemble the pattern. Assembling the pattern is pretty easy. Start with your first row, pages 1 to 3, and draw 2 lines like this on page 1. And cut the page 1 along these lines and overlap it on page 2. Line up the pattern lines. You will also see these small triangles that will help you line up your pattern even easier. Tape the pages together. Now draw 2 lines like this on the second page, also cutting lines. And line everything up, making sure these line up, the triangles line up, and tape the second and third pages together. When taping, try to keep the pages so they don't shift. And here we have our first row. After your first row is assembled, continue on with the next row, aligning the tops and the sides of your pages. And this is the result. Our pattern is ready. Cut it out. The seam allowances are 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. Okay, if you like the content so far, press the like button below. If you don't have time to watch the whole video now, press the like button below and this video will be saved in your liked videos folder. And you can come to see it later when you have time and are ready to make the pillow. Step 2. Now we have to deal with all these small design pieces that make our pillow top. Do you know a fast and easy way to cut and sew them? I'm going to use a technique called raw edge applique. Let me show you what you will need for this. So, this is fusible web. It has adhesive on both sides. Usually one side of fusible web is paper backed. There are many types and weights of fusible web. I prefer to use the lightweight fusible web because I don't want my appliques to be stiff. I want my fabric to keep its drape, and I also don't want to have problems with gumming up my needles when I sew appliques in place. You can find my affiliate links below this video in the description box if you want to buy fusible web for your projects. So now we need to trace some pieces on this paperback fusible web. You can see through this paper pretty well. First, I traced the biggest piece of the tiger's body. You can trace all other small pieces, 4 big triangles, 2 smaller triangles, eyes, nose. But I prefer to cut all these pieces using my Cricut Maker. If you have Cricut, you can use SVG files that come together with my pillow pattern. So just load this SVG cutting file on your Cricut and you will have perfectly cut applique pieces for the pillow. Use only a lightweight mat, it's blue. Put a piece of fusible web on the mat, paper side down, glue side up, and cut. If you don't have a Cricut, you sure can cut everything with scissors, not a big deal. Fusible web is perfect to use for applique because you can position an applique easily and very precisely and secure it to the base fabric without pinning or basting. It holds the applique in place and you don't have to worry about it shifting. Also, fusible web stabilizes the applique fabric, which makes it easier to cut and stitch. Now that we cut all these small applique pieces, we have to fuse them to coordinating fabrics. I used green fabric, orange for a nose and ears, black for eyes and a nose, red for cheeks, and white for eyes. Any type of fabric can be used for applique. Just have in mind that the applique fabric has to be compatible with the base fabric. For example, if you are going to wash the finished product, use fabric for an applique that's also washable. It's recommended to pre-wash your fabrics before cutting an applique. Also, it's not really good to use for applique fabric that frays easily. I used mostly quilting cotton for my applique pieces, but I didn't have black cotton, so I used cotton jersey fabric for the nose and eyes. You should always fuse fusible web on the wrong side of your applique fabric. Press for 3-5 seconds to get a good bond. But don't keep the iron too long, also as the heat may scorch the fabric. The applique should stick to the fabric so you cannot lift it. For example, these are my green fabric pieces and these are for orange fabric. Step 4. Now is the time to cut the base fabric. We need to cut 2 identical pattern pieces for the pillow top and pillow back. So fold your fabric, place the pattern and use pins to secure the pattern on the fabric. Cut using good fabric shears. Do you have good fabric scissors? Recently I bought these scissors and I can say they are the best even if they are not brand name. I will put my affiliate link under this video so you can buy them too. They are inexpensive but work really great. You should choose a soft, easy care fabric for your pillow, like 100% quilting cotton. Whatever fabric you choose for your pillow, make sure that it's comfortable and soft. You should also make some snips that will help you to attach the applique pieces to the pillow top. Make snips around all edges. These triangles, these smaller triangles, Step 5. Now we need to transfer some lines onto base fabric. For this, I'm going to use tracing paper and a tracing wheel. Just insert the tracing paper between the pattern and the fabric and trace the necessary lines. I can also trace placement lines for eyes and the nose. There are only a few lines you need to trace, and it's very easy to do with the tracing wheel. Do you use it for your sewing projects? Step 6. Okay, we cut the fabric. Now is the time to arrange the applique pieces on the pillow top. And it's so easy to do now as we have fusible web attached to the applique pieces. I have to peel off the paper backing, and sometimes it's almost impossible to do it. So I'm showing you a trick. If you cannot find the paper edge to start peeling, use a pin to scratch the paper in the middle of the applique. And you will see how easy it is to peel the paper off this way. Adhesive side that was under the paper goes on the right side of the fabric. Let me use a marker to show you where I should place this triangle. I have the snips, but I can see them and you probably cannot. So I placed this piece. I just press it with my fingers and the applique is fused. So I put all the green pieces first. I know some types of fusible web need to be pressed with an iron, and the applique will stay in place only after pressing because the adhesive side needs to be activated by the heat from an iron. But my fusible web is different. I don't need to use an iron, I just press with my fingers. Now I am attaching orange fabric. And here I have all the applique pieces attached. Now I am going to show you a very interesting fabric marker, this friction pen. Do you know what it is? I can mark my fabric easily and the marks will completely disappear when I use hot iron. I want to mark these lines on my pillow so I can clearly see them when I sew with my machine. And we are ready to take the pillow top to the sewing machine. Step 7. So the next step, sewing. You have to stitch all these pieces in place and to finish the raw edges. There are many stitching techniques available. Most common way to do it is just to zigzag stitch by sewing machine. stitch so one edge of the zigzag falls in the applique fabric and the other edge goes just past the raw edges of the applique into the base fabric. This kind of stitching takes a little bit of practice, and you may notice that you went too much on the base fabric, or you stayed only in the applique fabric without even going onto the base fabric. But don't worry, it's okay, it will not be really visible. But still try to sew slowly and make zigzag stitches nice. Now, as we reach a corner, it's a little bit tricky now. The angle is acute and you don't want your stitches running onto the base fabric and not onto the applique fabric. So you need to stop the machine with the needle down in the fabric. Lift the foot and move the fabric, so your next zigzag stitches will be going right on your applique fabric. I recommend doing this in a few steps, not in one step. Move the fabric slightly, make a zigzag, stop again and move the fabric again. And after you are done with the corner, continue stitching. Let me show you really quick another corner. You can practice on scrap fabric doing this. And now stitch all applique pieces in the same exact way. It's not hard, believe me. You will also need to choose threads for your applique pieces. The thread color should match the applique fabric, not the base fabric. So for green pieces I used green thread, for red pieces I used red thread, and so on. I have set up the machine to do a standard zigzag stitch with a length of 2 mm and a width of 3 mm. I would recommend that you test the setting on scrap fabric before you actually sew this onto your appliques. This zigzag stitch not only looks nice, but it will help to prevent fraying. Let me show you how to stitch the smallest part of the eye, this white circle. Use white thread, of course. The part is really small, and I had to sew carefully and stop practically after every zigzag and turn the fabric slightly, but it's not a problem at all. Fusible web can gum up your needle. It may happen if you are using heavyweight fusible web or if you are using the same needle for many applique pieces as I am doing now. Just clean the needle with alcohol if you still want to use it to finish the project. There are special needles from Schmetz that are covered with non-sticky coating. They are a great choice for stitching fusible appliques. They are black, very unusual. Check my affiliate links in the description. And now let's make some stitches over the marked lines. Choose a decorative stitch on your sewing machine. I think a regular straight stitch would be too thin for this. You can use a zigzag stitch too. I decided to go with this stitch, but there are many other options. You can even use a thin ribbon to outline the mouth and nails. Step 8. So, We made all the preparations and now let's sew the pillow. Lay the back piece on top of the front piece with the right sides together. Now you have the right sides on the inside. And pin around the perimeter of the pillow, but we need to leave an opening at the bottom for stuffing. So pin just about 3 inches from each edge. Mark the beginning and the end of your seam. Here are 3 inches and here are 3 inches. This is the end. The seam allowances for this pillow are 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. Start stitching using a regular straight stitch of your sewing machine. Secure the stitches at the beginning by back stitching. The stitch length is regular here. I use 2.5. I'm going to sew around all sides of the pillow, and here at the bottom I need to sew only about 3 inches to leave an opening. Back stitch at the end too, to make sure that the stitching doesn't come out when you will stuff the pillow. Press the seam with a hot iron. Now clip your corners at an angle, but don't cut into the stitching when you clip your corners. Make a few snips around the ears too. You need to do this so that when you turn your pillow right side out, it will be less bulky. I like to use pinking shears to cut close to stitching around the ears, so when you turn the pillow right side out, the curved ears will be smooth and not bulky. Turn the pillow right side out. Push out the corners. Use a chopstick, for example, if you need. Now fold the bottom edges inside with 3/8 inch seam allowances and press with a hot iron. Iron the whole pillow. Step 9. Now we need to stuff the pillow. There are many different choices for stuffing the pillow, but whatever you choose, you have to make the pillow fluffy, but not lumpy. Start with stuffing the ears first, then stuff the bottom corners maybe, and stuff the rest of your pillow. You can put as little or as much stuffing into your pillow as you like. Have in mind that some of the polyfill is a bit lumpy and you need to break the lump so the pillow is smooth and soft. Look, this looks lumpy. Let's break it and make it fluffy. Don't overstuff the pillow. It needs to be soft, not like a brick. Step 10. Pin the opening closed. Insert pins like this, parallel to the edge of the pillow, and hand sew the opening closed. I have a detailed tutorial on my site on how to do an invisible stitch to close the opening, so check it out if you are not sure how to do it. Do you want more fun and easy sewing tutorials? I can show you a unique way to make a scrunchie. This is an interesting tutorial. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.